Hello my friends, I now invite you to enjoy this classic Dr. Groovy lesson. Hello folks, this is Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. I have been asked today to take my classic intros and outros and turnarounds. Intros meaning the little licks that get you into a song, like you would actually count like 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, outros, which are basically the same thing, but they end a song. So you're getting at the end of the song. And turnarounds. Okay, so you're okay, so something that just kind of happens in the middle of more traditional songs. But to take all of these things and make them very basic. Okay, so old style country and not a lot of fancy stuff going on, so to make them as simple as possible for those beginners out there. Again, it's the beginners who need the most help. So for those of you who are just basic rhythm players and are wanting to get into lead guitar, this will be a good way for you to do it. Okay, so we'll start stretching and bending strings right away, but we'll do it at such an easy pace that you can get used to it. Again, for those of you who've been playing acoustic forever, it's time to grab an electric and realize that you're going to have to go to some lighter gauge strings, and in order to bend those strings correctly. In country music, until you get used to it, I would strongly suggest just using 9 gauge strings, 9 through 42. And in about 10 years, if you want to go to heavier strings, for some reason, which I never have in the 40, God, have I been playing that long? Yeah. Well, I've been playing 39 years. I've always stayed with 9 gauge strings, so they'll serve you just fine. So let's do some very basic stuff. Get you in, around, and out of very basic country western patterns. That's the one thing that's missing out of music today is western. You know, we barely have any country left, so let alone western. The western died out a long time ago. Too bad, but it did. So let's get down here to the pretty guitar. Today's guitar being the Merle Haggard Tough Dog Signature Telecaster. These are ones that everybody got the little chihuahua on there. Pretty guitar though, huh? I love this thing. It's just a beautiful guitar. And boy, you just can't beat her. If you're playing country music, there's got to be a telly somewhere in the band. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is do very basic intro. And this will also be a turnaround, meaning it can be used, and this could also be an outro. It could be used as all three. You'll hear it, you'll know it, because it's been used in so many songs, and it's just so basic and so simple that you can use it everywhere. And what's cool about this is I'll show you how to use it in a few different keys also, and then you can put them in every single key you want to. I'll show you how to put this in all the different keys, because I'm going to play it in E, where you're going to have just that, you know, open string. And but you know you can do it in A. But what if you want to do it in another key that has like a G in there? Okay, so that's not the lick, but just to show you that I will show you other places for us to play it in. Now let's get this thing down here. We can actually see some more of the guitar. Alrighty. Now for this first intro, I'm going to do the very simple. Okay, you've heard that a million times. Now it's time to play it. Okay, so I'm not going to use a count off yet. I will just show you the lick, as it is called, which is what we're going to do first. Okay, so we'll be going to, I'm going to name the strings being the 6th string, 5th, 4th, 3rd, instead of saying E string, A string, all that. And then I will also say the number of the fret. Instead of just going 2nd fret, 4th fret, I'll just say 2. I'll say go to your 2nd string, do 2, 4. That means 2, 4 means, okay, so it will kind of save us some time. So you'll get used to this as we go, I'm sure. Okay, so again, I'll name the string first. Like I'll say 5. So we're on 5th string, or I'll just say 5th string. 2, 4. That means you play the 2nd fret, 4th fret. And if you need to look at which finger I'm using, that's why you have video. Okay, so use your rewind button, and if you need to see which fingers I'm using, it's a lot quicker than me having to explain the string name, the fret number, the finger number, which kind of fingernail polish I'm using, which gauge of pick I'm using, you know, over and over and over again. Okay, so again, the lick will sound like okay. Again, you've heard it probably on a lot of Hank Williams Jr. stuff, Waylon stuff, all the Outlaw stuff, and even before that. They had to get it from somebody. Okay, so we'll go that much. Okay, so we're going 5th string, 2, okay, 2nd fret, 2 times so far. Okay, now the 3rd time you hit it, so you're going to do it 3 times, but it's going to go. Okay, now that's phrasing. Phrasing means how you talk. Otherwise it would be phrasing is how you talk. So phrasing is how you talk. You got to break it up. Otherwise it's you know, so it has to be okay, it's got to sing to you, just like you're singing. Okay? So it's going to be 3 times total here on this B note. So again, string number 5, fret 2. Okay, twice. Then on the 3rd time, you're going to do a hammer on to the 4th fret. If you're not familiar with the term, you're actually doing exactly that. You're taking that 3rd finger and actually hammering it on there, just like it's a hammer. Okay, and hitting down on it enough so it still rings. Okay, so 1, 2, again, hammer on. Now 4, meaning 4th string, fret 2. Okay. Now back to 5 and 4, 5th string, 4th fret. Okay. Okay, now let's get your phrasing proper. Okay, now we're going to cut that last one off on fret 4. Okay, listen to the phrasing. So you've got the first 2 chopped off, which is called staccato when you chop it off real fast, if you ever want to know that word. Then the 3rd time, hammer on. 4 here, it's really staccato, top it off. Okay? Now if we were to actually count it, it'd be like 1, a 2, a 1, 2. Okay, my fault. 2, a 1, 2. Okay, so it actually kicks in that way. It's weird to count something yourself. So if a drummer was actually to count, you would have to start the song. The drummer would say a 1, a 2, a 1, 2. Then you would have to do these lead-in notes. Okay? So that would be your thing. So you have to do, they're actually called pickup notes, which is nice for country music. You got pickup notes or the lead-in notes, but generally the pickup notes or lead-in notes, anything you want to call them, is just fine, as long as you keep using the same term all the time so you don't get confused yourself or confuse anybody else that you might be picking with. Okay? Okay, now the next thing we're going to do here is a bend. Okay, we're dropping down to string 4, fret 4. And you're bending it down towards the floor. This will be probably one of the harder things that you will have to learn. Generally, bends are thought of as going up. Okay, but we are going to be bending down towards the floor, which is very, very, very necessary in country music. Not so much any other style of music, but we have to in country music. It's just the way the licks and the guitar itself is designed. Okay, so again. Okay, slower. 2, 1, 2. You hear all that? That's my finger trying to bend down there as the volume dies down. Now what we're trying to do is bend this up a whole step, meaning 2 frets. So go 2 frets higher, and that's the note you're trying to reach. Okay, so that's called a whole step. Half step would be 1 fret. Okay, so a whole step, or across the C, they call it a whole tone. Or here would be a semitone, or a semitone. Okay, so a whole step or a whole tone. So it's about as far down as you can bend it without basically hurting yourself. Honestly, it's right when your string hits the G string, the next string down. You'll know you have it right when those 2 strings come together. And now when you've got it down there, you're actually going to grab that G string on the 4th fret because you've already got a hold of it. It's there because the 2 strings are touching each other now. Okay? Okay? Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is bend it down till it hits that string, then hit the G string, or your 3rd string, and then hit that 4th string again while it's still bent up. This here's called resolve, or just letting it, or releasing it. Please release me. Sorry, my bad. And then simply go back to 2, fret number 2 on the D string. Okay, so we could do those staccato or however you feel. I like doing that. If you get really good with your right hand, you can go. Okay. all kinds of little cool little clicky noises. But let's get the licks first. Everything else will come naturally. Okay, you're still in E. Okay, we have not changed chords yet. Now we're going to do, okay, same bend, but do it on string 5. Okay, so, but on frets 4 and 2, but you start with it, what's called a pre-bend. So 4 and 2, but start with a pre-bend, so it's actually like it's up at 6. Okay, now we are in B. So we started off boom ba ba da boom ba do do boo do 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 boo do 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 do. Okay, so we're doing E, B, E, intro. Boop boop boo do boo do boo do boo do boo do boo boo. Okay, so again. Okay, I like putting a click in just so you know what's happening. If you say, what was that? Okay, so after the all I did is click on the D string up, but with nothing on it. I'm just muting it with my hands. I'm not pushing down on anything, I just have my hands shutting it up, just kind of like this. Okay, so after the, and then we go again. Okay, after the, okay, which is what we already did before. So we're back on string 4, fret 4. Okay. So we went. Okay, you hear me still putting the clicks in. Okay, that's a nice one to do, is that second time around when we do it on that string, on the 4th string. So the second time you do it, instead of just resolving it or letting it loose, so after you hit it, hit that G string, but then it's just kind of neat. Okay, that's one way to come out of it, is to finish it out, is by going D string, and this is going to be 5, 4, 3, those are your fret numbers. A string, same thing, 5, 4, 3. That's 3, 2, open, open on string 6. So you got and that'll be the end of it. Okay, so slowly. Okay. Okay, there is one extra low note. Okay, these are actually called slides when you go to 5. Okay, so you slide from 5. Okay, I'm on the 4th string. slide from 5, fret 5, but you don't pick it. 5 to 4. Then you can either pick it, either up or down, I don't care, or you can do what's called a pull-off. Now a pull-off, if you're not familiar with it, is kind of a strange little thing, which is this. You can see that with this finger, when I go 5, slide, now when I pull off, I actually pull down. Okay, so I'm picking it with my pick. That's the only time I pick it with my pick. Now I picked it with my finger by pulling down a little bit. Okay, and the next string, same thing. See? That's called a pull off. You're not just pulling it off, you're pulling it and then you take it off. So you're actually picking it with your other finger. So, okay, then we got, okay, so that's what happened with that thing. Okay, I know it's taking me 20 minutes to get here, but it's a very cool lick. Okay, and as many times as we need at the end, let's let me figure it out real quick. Okay, so after the, then bum, bum, if you want to do it that way. You may not want to do it that way, it's up to you. It's just a typical way of starting a song, and if everybody wants to end there in order to begin. Okay, sometimes things do that. A good woman at home who thinks I do no wrong. Okay, so some songs will start that way, but you can put what you want at the end. Again, I used and just kind of stopped it, or you can go a real nice way. If you're not gonna do any kind of stopping, is to go to the 2nd fret and bend it down towards the ground and let it just kind of ring, and then you can just let it ring again open because you are in E. Okay, that's it. So that's 1-5-1, which if you check out any of my theory videos, will tell you what that is. So that's your E, B, E. 2, 1, 2, da 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 da, boom, bang, boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom, da 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 da, boom. Okay, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so that's just a good way to get her in there. Okay, now from here, let's get it just in another key. Okay, you can go back and check that out any old time and see what makes it tick. Okay, so now if we just stick it in A, you would think that everything would be the same, and it is, luckily. Okay, so if you're going to do A, back to A, so A, E, A intro, so the song's in the key of A now, whatever song that is, and you want to use this same intro. Okay, so you can use this for a lot of songs. Try not to use it for every song because it'll get old, but I'll over time teach you enough of these so that you can pick and choose between one of 20 of them and, you know, kick songs off this way or end them this way or whatever. Okay, it's just to get you started. Okay, so if you're doing an A, 2, 1, 2, look at that. which would be 2. 1, 2. Okay. See? Okay. Okay. Okay, we do have one extra surprise here because of how guitars are tuned like this, 5th fret. And I could tell already that was too high. Okay, now you know how you tune it on the 4th fret there for the B string. So when we get up to that high note where we did on the before, when we went okay, now we have to go. We have to add a note higher instead of where it stops up against it. We don't have the luxury of being able to do that because of the way that B string is tuned. So we have to do the exact same thing except for when we go. Okay, so we have to reach up with our pinky and we're going to have to use 5th fret on that 2nd string instead of 4th fret on that 3rd string. It's the only difference because of the way the guitar is tuned. We have to do that. So it's quite the stretch, and it won't be this way every time, but any time that you're starting on the A string instead of starting on the E string, it will be that way. Okay, so depending on different things, and we'll run through a couple, they will end up this way. So this will be same as the other, but okay. And you can use the chord or okay. So again, we are now on string 4. Same as before, just one whole string down because we're in the key of A now. Then we go to E chord, back to A. Okay. Okay, so get that much and get it phrased right. And practice getting that pinky stuck in there now. After you get that 4 note, fret 4 on the 3rd string, bend up to that note. And it sounds kind of nice to let both of them ring. Difference. So I won't take up too much of your time since this one is the same way, but with the exception of dropping everything down one string and adding that note instead of bending down and hitting it, because it would do this if you would do it the same way. No good. So you have to add. Okay. Okay, now the difference here, I should very well point this out, is we get to bend up this time. We have to. Before, see how we're bending everything down? Now we have to bend up. And the cool thing about that, the reason why it happens is because if we bend this down, you're running into the other string way too early because these strings are skinnier and you have to bend them down further to get them to tune right. So by the time it's way down there, it's already slammed into the other string and bent further than it needs to go. Okay, but it's just what happens. But what is cool, when it's time to bend here, when you first started, now when you go here, you've got, go ahead and put 2 fingers. I'll get her in here so you can see what I mean, and then we'll skip right on ahead. You got 2 fingers here on this 3rd string. Use both of them to help you bend up, because this finger may not be real strong to bend up yet. So use both of them to help bend. So this one back here can be a cheater, help you bend. Okay, one more time with this view, then I'm moving on. Now there I bent down. Now back up. Okay, so when you're bending up, now we bend down, now back up. Okay, real quick, just for conversation's sake and for your sake, in all of these, from the beginning to the end. So whether it's the first one I showed you, the first lick in E, or this one in A, you can, when it's going, instead of going, you can always do a little bend. Okay, see that? It's a half step, so only, just like you played it. You can always go, or, okay, so you can do whichever one you like. You might like this. Oh. Okay, instead of, you might like, so know that you can do that. So practice both. Okay, so let's go through a few more of this in different keys. Okay, just so you can do them in all keys. Okay, so the first note that your first finger hits is going to be the key you're going to be in. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to be in the key of C, okay, so that's going to mean you're going to need a C and a G and a C to start the beginning of the song, because you don't only want to play in E or A. So here's in C. Okay, so we have to go. Okay. Let's see, what's going to be a better way to get to a C? Okay. Okay, that's going to be the best way to put it, is right there in C. Okay, we had A here. So our best C to go to, because E is as low as we can go here. Okay, so find out where your best sounding one's going to be. A was right here. A sharp, B, C. So that means since we're going to have to start here, okay, because I said wherever our first finger goes, that's the key we're going to be in. So you got to find that note. Okay, so you want to do it in the key of C. Say, okay, that's C, but I have to start right below it or above it, whichever way you're looking at it from. Okay. There's that pinky again, because we have to go to that G string, and then we run up to, anytime we go on that B string, we have to use that pinky up there when we bend, and we have to bend up because we're going to use the B string. If we were bending it down, we'd have to be running into the D string or the fourth string. Okay, if that didn't make sense, run it back. Okay, I like to try to make these lessons an hour long, so I try to squeeze as much more in here as I can. Try to get past just this one lick. Okay, so this one, just like the one we did here. But now we have to start here. Just like you're starting in A. Think about it this way. If you played an A chord with one finger, there's A sharp, B, and C. So your D, G, B string, that's a whole C chord. Okay, so we're basing it off this. That's why we start. Because you could actually leave the finger here and go. Okay, so here's where it gets weird. Okay, so again, I'm not going to waste all day. I'll go over it about 2 more times. So you can use the one finger method and go over the D, G, B string so that it sounds like the C chord. Same as, sounds the same. No difference at all. And you know you have the first 2 notes right on strings 4 and 3. So I'm bending up. Okay, so you have to figure out. Then it's an octave down. So you skip a whole fret and skip a whole string from where you started down to C again. So you just got to learn your notes. So you're down to C. Then that will become just like so second nature to you. That lick, that it'll always just resolve on the C like you need it to. Or in D, move it all up one. Or right there. Okay. Or if you want to take it all the way up to F. Okay, so you see how you can use it in every key? It's just a matter of what key you want to be in. Okay, so first we started it in E. Now let's do it again, but let's do it in G so we can actually do it on these low strings again. Teach you one more time. Close enough for country. Okay, so just so you don't forget. Okay, so again in G. Okay, so we get to bend down this time. It's because the G is here. Okay, we know our G note from our G chord, so we have to start at this G, but we have to start one string above it. Okay, and you can even do it in G open. You have have to think about but I want you to think about that open G one right there that I just did on 2 different strings. That will teach you more than anything. And again, remember, again, I'm bending down now because I'm on the 3 lowest strings, and so you get to bend down. Now you can do this. See, bend barely half a step. So you only play it once and all pull-offs until you hit the last notes, you know. So you can go. Okay, so there's a nice little lick that you'll use an awful lot, and you might use it way up here. See? Okay, so you'll find all kinds of places to use it. Okay. Okay, so you can use them way up high. Use them everywhere you can, but that's a great basic lick to play as an intro, getting into a song, to get out of it, or to end it. A nice way to end it. Or it would be the last chord that you would play in a progression like that. So if you're in G, you're going to be playing G, C, D. Okay, okay. Be doing like a boom, 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 bang, boom, I'm going to show you how I'd end it with chords. You would end it like this. Okay, go to that last chord, and then you're done. Okay? Pretty neat. Now if the band did that, and you just want to play lead behind that, but if you tell the band to go behind what you're doing, you tell them to go and end it, you only have to go back 1 fret and then back up to the G. Okay, because that F sharp note is part of the D chord. That one right there, same as that one, then G. So you just do a little bit of thinking, but whatever that last note is, then if you're going to end it that way, you can always just go back 1 and end it that way, and the band can go to G, D, G. Okay, and you just go back for the D and back here. Okay, so it's just a little bit of thinking, but pretty cool. Okay, so now let's go into a different one. Like I said, those intros, outros, turnarounds. And again, a turnaround is something in the middle of the song that you can play the same thing to make it familiar. It's the same lick that you can use a couple times throughout the song. So you just finish the chorus. Big city, turn me loose and set me free. I'm tired of this. Okay, so the song hasn't ended, but you play the same lick again. But that's just called a turnaround. It's just not really a whole solo, but you play just boom, ding, ba ding, ba ding, ba ding, ba bang. Okay, so just like the beginning, but that's the actual terminology for it, is a turnaround. That way everybody you play with for the rest of your life, that you jam along with, they'll know what you're talking about when you say do a turnaround. That just means go from that G chord to that D chord back to the G. So that's leaving out the whole C and all that for all the solos for later. Okay, so that's just a quickie, if you will, a quick solo. It's just turn around from beginning to the last chord, right back to the first chord, so it's not a real long solo. So it's not like you're trying to rush you know, the song or drag it out. Either way, it's just what it is. Okay, a very short variation of a solo that does exactly what you do at the beginning. That's called a turnaround. Okay, now another part, let's just extend this since there's only, you know, about 14 minutes left, and get you up the neck some more with basically this same lick, is to get you just up an octave or two higher. Okay, now let's do this whole thing exactly as done, but an octave higher, which means okay, so now we have things sounding pretty cool. And this is way different because of the way the strings are all laid out. Okay, so I had you do it two different ways. This is a third way and there is a fourth way. So I'll get you through all four ways of doing this. And then I'll just be done with this lesson, and we'll continue the easy stuff later. Okay, so let's get you all over the neck so you can play this everywhere. Let's do it in G, that's where we left off. Okay, next place I want to do it on is to do it on, I want your G note to be on your B string. So find your G note on your B string, if you would, for me real quick. Okay, if you're not familiar how to do that, you gotta get familiar. Okay. Thing is, we get to basically think of when we're going to be doing stuff on your B string, and I asked for it, that's where your G is going to be anyway. The only chord that you actually have a note in it that names that chord is your D chord, because the note here on your B string, that is your D note during your D chord. Now if you take those three notes, move it up 2 frets, there's E. Move it up 1 more fret, that's F, F sharp, G. So that must mean still that same finger on the B string is a G note. So everything that looks like a D chord is going to be able to be used. So keep that in mind. It's very useful to know that everything that looks like a D chord surrounding that B string there is usable, because you can hit all of those notes, and we're going to. Okay, so we have to start here. Remember this? So that's where we're going to start. Okay, so you're starting on the 3rd string, fret 7. Hammer on to 9. See the dots? Now to 8 on your B string. Back to 9 on your 3rd string. Now we gotta bend up. We're going from 10 on your G string, on your 2nd string, your B string. Notice I'm using 2 fingers again to help me bend up. Get in there. Okay, so we have to bend up a whole step, all the way up to B. Now we use our pinky directly underneath again, because we have moved beyond that B string, and we could use the one underneath again, but we can't bend down because there's not, by the time it would actually get to where we need it, it's already off the neck, so we have to bend it up. Then, because we're like this, okay, so that's back down to 9, that's already pre-bent. Then, just like you're used to doing already, so 10, bend it up, then 10 on the E string, first string, then hit it on the B string again, release it or resolve it, pull off, then we have, okay, this is where it gets weird because of the B string again. Okay, let's pan out just a little bit. So we have that note we know is G, so we have to do that. Now we have to go get back to this one because we know from being a D shape, okay, because I told you to remember this shape. So now we have to get to that note, so we did. Now we know we have to, because of the way the guitar is tuned, it's messed up, we have to do this one, get to there, so now we got to get all the way back to this G here. So you're moving all over the guitar now. Okay. Okay. Now, one more position for this. Okay, I'm not going to stay on it long. Don't have a long time to stay here. Same thing, same goofy stuff, but a new way to play it. Okay, this is a great way to do it. Just like your A thing. Okay, where you get to play it with one whole chord, like this. That's same as playing this down here. Same 3 notes, just like you're playing the D chord, but it's actually a G chord. Now we're playing it up here at the 12th fret, the double dots. It looks like an A chord, but it's a G chord if you play all 3 strings. The D, G, and B string. Same as. Okay, so now we have where we can leave them here. I'm going to come back out of here a little bit. Okay. So now we're doing 12 to 14 with the hammer on, then 12 on 3, back to 14 on 4, then bend it up on 14 on the 3. Now since we're on that string, we have to use our pinky at 15 here on the dot. Now release it. Now that same thing again. Then, okay, so now we gotta find that G. Okay, so it's gonna be 13, 12, 10. Okay. Okay, now this gets really cool. Now once you get way up high like this, you can actually even you're like, what's that? This is where we have fun. When you're way up high like this, you can actually use your pinky when you put it down. Right there when you hit that note, cover your pinky across that high E string too. Hit them all. Okay, it's just adding in an extra note. You're like, what's that? Same thing we already did. That, but just going, hitting all 3 strings. I've been waiting to show you that for a whole hour. Isn't that cool? Okay, so very basic run, or fill, or lick, or whatever. So you have or or remember how I told you at the very end you could go back one? The whole band can go. And you can go. Cool stuff like that. So just bring it back and or put your pinky down. Or just put your pinky only down. So just cool stuff. So there's our hour. Once again, I'll turn this whole guitar down so she don't buzz all over the place. Once again, Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. I know it was one lick over and over and over again, but again, these are called intros and outros. Intros meaning beginnings, outros meaning endings, and turnarounds mean very short solo in the middle that sounds exactly like your intros and your outros. And you please get them in all the keys, because you're going to need to get them in every key. Remember, women generally sing in E flat and B flat, so learn to play them in E flat and B flat, because you're going to need them. If you ever back up a girl that sings crazy or anything, they're going to sing it in B flat every time. Okay, so once again, me or you get to work on that, and I will do a lot more of this very, very beginner stuff that has been asked to me, or of me by request. I'm more than happy to do these, and the countryer the better. Okay, so again, right back to the roots, and we'll take it nice and easy on a lot of these. I'll do some of the advanced stuff for other people too, but for those who wanted the easy stuff, we have begun. Okay, talk to you soon, and click the link below the video, and you'll get some of those harder licks that are free on the website for free, and you can jump ahead if you want to and see what's coming up later. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye bye.